The Daytona 500 is sold out, but Fox is already phoning it in. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Monday, folks. Hope your weekend was well. I've got something I've been meaning to get off my chest now for quite some time. I finally have an excuse to rant about it. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, some breaking news this morning. Daytona 500 grandstand and camping tickets are officially sold out. 10 years in a row. That's great news. I will be there. It will be my fourth consecutive Daytona 500. Fans often ask me, especially new fans, will ask me, what's the best track to go to for my first NASCAR race? And depending on where they say they're from, I'll often point them in the direction of Daytona Beach, Daytona International Speedway. Even if you can't make it to the 500, the summer race is great too. Just the venue. There's a reason that 10 years is significant. 10 years ago, the Daytona Rising project finished. Daytona International Speedway was transformed into a world-class sports venue, blows nearly every other NASCAR track, in my opinion, out of the water. I know they removed some seats from the backstretch. I don't know exactly how the current capacity compares to 15, 20 years ago, but they still sell out over 100,000 tickets every single February for good reason. It's a big race, huge celebration, but most importantly, the facility, the venue is top notch. If you're a newer fan, maybe a casual sports fan looking to give NASCAR a try, I highly recommend Daytona International Speedway. February, July, August, does not matter. It is a world-class venue. You gotta see it. But that's not what I want to rant about. This sellout should remind everyone that the Daytona 500 is a really huge deal. It's the one part of NASCAR that consistently works. 100,000+ spectators every year, over 8 million viewers on TV when weather permits. This isn't just another race. And I bring this up because yesterday Fox Sports unveiled 2 new motorsports TV commercials during their NFL playoff coverage. Fox now owns the rights to broadcast IndyCar racing, and yesterday they unveiled a fantastic 45-second spotlight focused on 2-time defending Indy 500 winner Joseph Newgarden. It was fast, witty, filled with star power, compares Joseph Newgarden to Tom Brady. It's a really good commercial that serves as a fantastic introduction to American open-wheel racing. Not only does it highlight one of the sport's biggest stars, currently most successful drivers, it also showcases the speed, the struggle. It makes Joseph Newgarden look like a superstar. I gotta shout out good friend David Land. He did a fantastic breakdown of this IndyCar commercial. I'll link his YouTube video down in the description below. I agree with pretty much everything he said. Point is, fantastic commercial. Fox did an excellent job introducing its audience to IndyCar. It was so good, in fact, that it overshadowed the Daytona 500 commercial that played shortly thereafter. Fox's first official Daytona 500 commercial was only 15 seconds long, a third of the length of the IndyCar spot. It also highlights a single driver, Joey Logano, but very briefly, and he doesn't say anything or really do anything. He's just standing there, menacingly. I do love The Who blasting in the background with echoes of past Daytona 500 broadcast calls, nostalgia clips of Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon. Good. It checks all the typical boxes. But that's the problem. It looks like any other NASCAR race commercial, in my opinion. They could have thrown up the Cookout 400 logo at the end and I wouldn't have batted an eye. The NASCAR commercial does not seriously highlight a current driver like the IndyCar one does, and it doesn't craft a narrative. Fox could have showcased Denny Hamlin chasing his 4th Daytona 500, or Kyle Busch, a 2-time champ, future Hall of Famer, still a very recognizable name, still trying to get his first. They show Joey Logano, but they don't tell a story. Maybe Logano is trying to silence the skeptics after his polarizing championship run. They could have mentioned Helio Castroneves attempting the race, or at least shown a clip, but no. None of that. Zero. Zilch. Nada. The IndyCar commercial crafts a narrative. Sure, it's a very Joseph Newgarden-focused narrative, but they also use the tagline at the end that IndyCar is the fastest racing on Earth. That's good. The Daytona 500 spot is well put together. It's professional. It looks nice. but there's no substance, no hook, nothing to convince the casual race fan that this year's Daytona 500 is must-see TV. Fox nailed the IndyCar ad. It looks like they phoned in the NASCAR ad. Now here's the thing. I completely understand Fox's thinking. They only have so much budget, let's say, and they've been broadcasting the Daytona 500 now for years. Fans are trained. They know to tune into Fox in mid-February to watch the Great American Race. It's become a tradition, so all you really need is a reminder. Hey, race fans, remember, tune in right here, same time, same place as always, Daytona 500, it's coming up. Whereas with IndyCar, that's a whole new thing. Fans are used to tuning into NBC. You need to tell the world IndyCar is now on Fox. That calls for a different campaign, so I get it. There's a difference. But as a NASCAR fan, I also see that as a problem. It shows me that Fox is now taking NASCAR and its fans for granted. You also got to remember Fox is cutting back on their NASCAR coverage a bit this year. They're not broadcasting as many Cup Series races. In fact, they're not broadcasting the Coca-Cola 600 this year. NASCAR sold that race off to Amazon Prime. So maybe there's some resentment now, some friction between NASCAR and Fox, which would be really unfortunate considering NASCAR just signed a 7-year agreement with Fox Sports. Anyway, all that is to say, I understand Fox's reasoning, but I also believe this general complacency, especially towards the Daytona 500, is dangerous for stock car racing overall. The Daytona 500 has lost like half of its TV audience the past 15 years. The next-gen super speedway package is mid at best, with no immediate plans to fix it. Daytona 500 winners are now more random than ever. We used to see future Hall of Famers, champions win this race year in, year out. Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, the Earnhardts, Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin. But the past few years, it's been Austin Dillon, Michael McDowell, Austin Cindric, Ricky Stenhouse. No disrespect. The duels don't matter as much as they used to, and now NASCAR is granting an extra spot in the field for guys like Helio Castroneves. Last year's Daytona 500 sold out the previous November. This year's race sold out nearly 2 months later. Complacency kills. I harp on TV in particular because it is the lens through which the vast majority of NASCAR fans watch racing. TV has a huge responsibility. So when I see Fox put together a long, charismatic, high-quality IndyCar promotion and then a much shorter, less inspired NASCAR promotion, it shows me that some of NASCAR's partners are taking this race, the Daytona 500, for granted. And that's a problem. Anyway, that's just something I've wanted to vent about for quite some time. Maybe I'll put together my thoughts into a larger video here sometime soon. We'll wrap up with this. There may be some of you out there who did not know Fox was broadcasting IndyCar races this year, and now you're wondering how that could impact the NASCAR schedule. Fortunately, there are only a couple of IndyCar Cup Series conflicts. The IndyCar season opener is March 2nd at St. Petersburg, Big Fox. That race is at noon and leads into the NASCAR race at Circuit of the Americas that starts at 3:30 Eastern. So that's actually great for motorsports fans. A full afternoon, back-to-back American road course racing. That's awesome. March 23rd is not awesome, however. Fox has IndyCar coverage at 3 o'clock that day. The NASCAR race at Homestead is also scheduled for 3 o'clock. That will be on FS1. Similar story on April 13th. Fox has IndyCar coverage at 4:30, NASCAR coverage on FS1 at 3. So there will be some overlap there. But fortunately, those are the only two major conflicts I could see. May 10th, IndyCar races on Fox, but that's a Saturday. The Cup race is May 11th, again on FS1. That is going to be frustrating for a lot of NASCAR fans. Again, I've said this before, NASCAR with their new TV contract chased the most money possible. The entire sport, from corporate down to the teams and tracks, is funded by TV money. So NASCAR chased the biggest bag they could. They got it, but as a result, more of their races are on cable, or now 5 are also exclusively on streaming with Amazon Prime. Fox Sports is desperate to keep cable subscribers around, so they're willing to pay more if NASCAR is willing to put some of their races on FS1. That's how this happened. It is frustrating, I think, for the average fan. I believe, between Fox and FS1, NBC USA, Amazon, and then TNT also will be simulcast on Max. That's at least 6 different channels, let's say, that Cup races will be broadcast on this year? 6. It's going to be touching that dial an awful lot. The muscle memory is going to need to change. But hey, NASCAR got the most money possible. That trickles down to the tracks, trickles down to the teams. It's an unfortunate trade-off, but one in this case NASCAR felt was necessary. Time will tell if their gamble, let's say, pays off. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode, y'all. Leave a comment down below. Do you agree in any way, shape, or form with my thoughts on the Daytona 500, Fox's coverage of it, their promotion of it? Do you feel like the Daytona 500 is slowly becoming just another race? Has it lost some of the glory? And if so, how can we get it back? I'm not saying the Daytona 500 is not a big deal. I said off rip, the Daytona 500 is huge. But how do we avoid complacency? How do we make sure that the Daytona 500 continues to be propped up as the great sporting event that it is? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. That's all I've got. Leave a like while you're down there in the comment section. Subscribe as well, especially if you're new to the show. We talk NASCAR almost every single day, all year long. And a big thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. Have a great rest of your day, folks. I will talk with you again very soon. Thanks for watching.